All right, what is up, guys? I am back, and today's session was my mixed leg day, hamstring focused day. Total session time is about an hour and 4 minutes here. This was a rough workout. This was a rough session for me. Didn't hit the best progressions here. Still did in some areas, but not as much across the board. I kind of slept like shit the night before, so I just wasn't really well recovered for the day, and it showed. But that's fine. That happens. That's just part of the process. It wasn't the worst day I've ever had, and it wasn't the best. It was kind of somewhere in between. But still, I felt like it was a productive session. Again, we took some progressions in some places. Here on the lying hamstring curl, first movement of the day. First two sets, rep goal of 8 to 12, and we hit 13 and 8 with 130 pounds on both. I think that's a 1 rep progression on the top set from last week. So again, took a progression here, even though it wasn't the greatest day, still hit it. Third set, ended up doing a back off set of 100 pounds. Well, 30 pound back off. The set total was 100 pounds. Goal was 15 to 20 reps. Only got 12 here, which was a regression. I think it was 95 for 15 or 90 for 15 I got last week, I think. It might have actually been 100 for 15. I have to look back at the log for that. But regardless, it was a regression here. I knew it was. My intensity felt fine today, but just maintaining that volume through the sets and the energy towards the tail end of the set, really tough since I just, again, slept like shit. So I had some drop-offs, but not a big deal. Again, my legs are coming up. My progress week over week is coming up. So super, super happy with how things are going so far. And then, yeah, this is the last set here. This is going to be that 100 for 12. And then we will move into the seated leg curls here in a minute. All right, on to seated leg curls now. Ended up taking a 1 rep progression here on this top set. Same weight as last week, 105 pounds for both sets here. Only 2 sets on this. So 105 for 16 and then 105 for 12. Rep goal is 10 to 15. I'm probably still going to keep this the same next week. Maybe. I might go up on that top set to 110, and then keep that second set at 105 and try to crank out some more reps on that. We'll see. If this next week feels the same as today, if I'm kind of like a little beat up, I think it'll feel better. Actually, let me backpedal there. I think next week I'll definitely be feeling better than I was today because of that sleep. And as long as I feel better, I should be able to push that weight up. So more than likely going to push this weight up next week. But today really needed to just kind of keep it the same, focus on reps here. And it was rough. It was a tough session, tough movement for me. But again, took a progression. So even if it feels hard sometimes, looking back at the log, it's like it was a progression nonetheless. So can't really complain about that. Another thing I just tried to focus on here was really focusing on the stretch and getting a good contraction all the way down to really improve the form on this a little bit. So I felt like, at least on the second set here, I was a little bit improved on that, which was good to see. That's something I try to focus on is if I can't move more weight or can't add more reps, I'm going to focus on a form improvement. And you kind of have to feel out when it's best to do that. A day like today where I can't really add a lot more weight or I can't hit more reps just because I'm under recovered and not fully there in the session, that's a good session to try and improve form, right? And to play with things too. You can see here going into the hack squat, I was kind of playing with foot positioning there. I got a couple little, I don't even want to call them partials in. I was just kind of testing how that felt on my knees. Wasn't too big of a fan of how it felt on my knees, so reposition my feet going into the top set on the hack squats here. Something I'm trying to do here this week is not fully lock out. I have really hypermobile knees. You know, even when I'm standing still, I want to lock my knees and they like bow back. It's a really bad habit. It's just my physiology, but I'm trying to actively think about not fully locking out at the top just because of the safety profile there, just being a little safer. And also just eliminates some stress on the knees, which, you know, I have a history of having some knee pain issues, so that can help. Ended up taking a weight increase here. Added 10 pounds on, went from 270 to 280 here on this. Last week got 12 reps with 270. This week got 9 reps with 280, both on the top set and the back off set. So it was a 3-rep regression on the top set and a 1-rep regression on the back off set, or the second set, but 280 on both here. So I'm happy we took a weight increase. I'll keep the weight the same next week and work on those reps. I'm feeling confident about it next week. Again, just gassed today, you know, just rough day, but still hitting the goals, checking all the boxes. And now moving into my leg extension. This is one that I changed a few things on this week. I don't remember if I have a warm-up set in here, if I just jump straight into my work sets. Looks like a work set. 2 working sets here, 100 pounds. I actually ended up taking a weight increase. I went up from 95, but you'll see I slowed this movement down a ton in the bottom. I'm trying to really fully stretch in the bottom of the movement now. This felt really, really good. Despite being as gassed as I was, these felt awesome. You know, even on my second set, you'll see I stretched down a little bit further even in the bottom. Hit 100 for 14 on the first set, and then 100 for 12 on the second set. I think I hit 19 or 20 with 95 on the first set last week, and then maybe 13 or 14 with 95 on the second set last week. So rep regression, but a weight increase and a huge form improvement here. Huge form improvement. Part of the reason I'm trying to improve the form on this, yeah, you can see how much more of a stretch I have here on the second set. Just there in that, you know, stretch position as we're getting into the beginning of the movement there. But one of the reasons I'm trying to improve my form on this is because I have known, you know, I need to improve the stretch on this for a while. I've just kind of been waiting for my knees to get back to a place where they feel good enough to do so. And today, despite being, again, under recovered, my knees felt really fucking good. So I was like, yeah, let's try it. And I, you know, again, really emphasized the stretch a lot more. That added a lot more difficulty and honestly, just a much better stimulus to this movement. It felt really good. So this was a big win today. Again, weight and form improvement. Super happy with that. Adductors, adduction machine next. 10 to 15 rep goal. Not too much to say here. Not a whole lot special going on. I think I took a 5-pound progression from last week, doing 175 here on the top set. Hit 13 reps. Goal is 10 to 15. So the weight stays the same next week, but these felt really good. You can see on this Cybex machine here, I'm able to kind of get a much more comfortable pause. When I was using that pre-core machine, you might have seen me use previously, when I was kind of pausing in the stretch, it wasn't really as long of a pause. Not that it needs to be, but I just felt like it wasn't as good of a stretch, right? This machine, I feel like it just gives me a much better stretch. It feels like it works the adductors in a little bit more of a targeted way. I just like the knee positioning a little bit more on the pads. So love this, happy I switched, and this is going just fine. Second set here is a big back off from 175 to 135, and then I hit 11 reps on the second set here. Again, goal is 10 to 15, so on both sets there, right around the middle of the range, low end of the range for that second set. So next week, weights stay the same, but these felt good. Honestly, no complaints here at all. This was one of the easier movements for the day, but still made good progress. And then last movement for the day is going to be seated calf raise here. That is going to be 90 pounds. So I did my setup a little bit differently this week. 3 sets here. Rep goal is 12 to 20. I ended up doing in the past and straight set all the way through. So last week it was 90, 90, 90 for the 3 sets. And I think last week I hit like 17, 12, and 10, I think. This week I ended up doing 90, 90, 70. So that last set I did a little bit of a drop just to see how it felt. And I ended up doing 90 for 20, 90 for 12, and then 70 for 12. So that drop did add 2 reps at the expense of 20 pounds for each rep. So I think that it's probably worth doing a drop set there. Not entirely sure, but it felt pretty good. My calves are always really sore after this day, and I feel them. You know, it was a good session. It was a good movement. So I think I'll probably stick with that 2 top sets and then 1 back off set on this, at least for the time being. I think it's one of those things where just having my calves last in the day, it's easier to do a little bit of a back off there. I shouldn't say easier, but I should say it just works well to do a back off because I'm already pretty fatigued for my leg session. So getting the high reps here can sometimes feel challenging, and just dropping that weight down a little bit kind of helps me work closer to that range I need to be in. But yeah, that's going to be it for today, guys. I'm just going to let the last set of these calf raises play out here, and I will catch you soon. If you like the content, subscribe, like, comment. Let me know if you want to see anything else in particular. I'll probably start doing some mobility work videos here soon as I have the time. Had a lot of people request that kind of info from me, so I'd love to put that out there. But until next time, guys, take it easy.